All right, today is going to be Talk About Liberal Fallacy Day. Let's start with the big myth, the big overriding myth. This is how the liberals hook kids from a young age with things in school like, there's no such thing as a winner or a loser. Everybody does great. Everybody gets a ribbon for participating. See, this is all bullshit. This is all that level playing field, everyone is equal with one another horseshit that the liberals try to sell. Well, all that does is get rid of competition. And competition, much as y'all hate to admit it, breeds excellence. Cream floats. Shit sinks. If somebody gets their little feelings hurt because they wanted to be number one and they were number 8, well then they need to work their ass off, and the next time their opportunity to excel comes along, they will. Or they'll give up. But it's all entirely up to them. They make that choice. They decide whether or not they want to succeed. But with all of that shit, then you've got the liberal ideology that states to these kids that if everyone just held hands and got along and coexisted, it'd be unicorn farts and rainbows and sprinkles. Bullshit. Fucking world. The world does not work that way. And I'm sick and tired of hearing these liberals, well, it's not fair. Life is not fair. Who the fuck ever told you life was fair? Whoever they were lied to you. They did you no favors by making you think that somehow or another life was going to be fair. Life is unfair, and everything you want to get in this world, you have got to scratch and claw to get. You have to be willing to put in the work to get what you want in this world. Nobody is going to hand it to you. They'll hand you enough just to get by, just to survive. But if you want nice shit, if you want a good house with a pool and a nice car in the driveway, you got to work for it. I'm damn near 50 years old and I'm still working and scratching for it. I drive a 15-year-old car. There's no pool in my backyard. But I'm not sitting around waiting on somebody to hand it to me either. I'm out there looking for opportunities. Sometimes shit works, sometimes it doesn't. It's unfair, and I've accepted that. I've accepted the fact that the world is an unfair, flawed place. And until these liberals come to the realization that it's not just all going to be fair and even, then they're going to continue to be backwards-ass morons. They make it look like it's going to be so great. And you take these kids who are unhappy with how unfair life is, and then they latch like a drowning person to a life preserver. They latch onto this belief that everything can be equal. Well, let me be the one to rip the Band-Aid off and tell you there's no fucking Santa Claus. That shit doesn't work. And then let's talk about the fallacy of some of the ideals that they have. First off, they like to call everyone fascist. Well, let's look at who have been fascist. Let's go back to Nazi Germany. The fucking brown shirts were fascist. The Nazis were fascist. The brown shirts would march through the streets and they would intimidate and be violent towards the rest of the populace to let them know, if you don't vote for the Nazi party, there's going to be trouble. Well, they scared the people into voting Nazi. And you see what happened there. Then it became a socialist dictatorship, which is not far from what Obama's trying to do now. Believe it or not, accept that shit or not, it is the truth. And so, whenever they call somebody a fascist, I just have to giggle to myself because I'm thinking, you know, look at the Trump rallies. Look at all of these people that showed up in droves to protest at these Trump rallies, and they used it using intimidation and violence. They're throwing eggs. They're smacking people. I watch people run up and blast people in the back of the head and then run off because really they're a bunch of pussies, a bunch of fucking cowards. But they looked for an opportunity to hit somebody who probably wouldn't have much of an opportunity to fight back, and that's who they went after. I didn't see them go after some great big burly ex-Marine that was walking through there with a Trump shirt on. Fuck with me, I'll kick your ass. No, they let him step on by. They made sure he was in the building before they did anything stupid, because they knew he'd turn around and stomp the shit out of them. Here's their biggest weapon. They like to call names. They like to label people. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a xenophobe. You're a homophobe. You're an Islamophobe. You're a something phobe. They can throw phobe on the end of anything. And it's all bullshit. It's all horseshit. Black Lives Matter is one of the worst things to happen to the black community since before the Civil Rights era. They have taken race relations back 60 years with their rhetoric and their bullshit. Fact of the matter is, race relations were getting better in this country, and then they start with their whites have got to die and we're going to kill cops and all this ridiculous nonsense. And what you have done is disenfranchised an entire ethnic group of people. Anybody who is white in this country, who is not a bleeding heart liberal, has been disenfranchised and is upset with your rhetoric. And that's probably not a smart thing to do, especially if you're trying to get some sort of point across, especially if you're trying to make things better, make your situation better, not only for yourself, but for your people. Then there's Hillary Clinton. We got to talk about her before I run out of time here. Hillary Clinton, liberals absolve her of any wrongdoing. They just refuse to admit that she's done anything. They refuse to even admit that she's done anything wrong. And they will spout her they pre-program these people with the news by beating it in their head to say things like, well, she made a mistake. It was an oversight. Okay, it's clearly marked on the top of these documents, whether they're top secret or they're confidential or they're classified or they're whatever. She chose to store them on a server. That's not a mistake. That's not an oversight. That was her being lazy. She only had to operate one server this way. I don't care what the degree of security she had on it. That's not the way it works. The government has rules and regulations, and she overstepped them. She also lied about Benghazi. People around her are dropping dead that might have information against her. How many things does this woman have to do before you people open your eyes and realize that she is a crook? She is the biggest crook to run for president ever. Ever. But you'll absolve her of anything. Anything wrong she does, you just go, oh, well, I'm going to vote for her anyway because she has a vagina and it's a woman's turn in the White House. There's your justification. Stupid. Grow up. Stop acting like you're in kindergarten. That's it, people. God bless. God bless America.